So we're live. Welcome to the March coaches meeting. I almost said April. Whew, it's been a long couple days, guys. So the agenda is now pinned in the chat. Nick doesn't have to spam chat anymore because Google is on our side. And you can scroll up to the top and find the agenda link there to follow along. There are lots of important links in that agenda, so I would strongly suggest keeping that open. I will share it as well, but it's going to just be much easier if you're following along on the agenda. We'll make sure all these links eventually get published out in an announcement on Discord as well. But we'll just jump right into things. So, last meeting follow up. I hate when people read to me, but highlights, tournament titles are continuing. We'll recap that again as well. State finals is where we're spending most of our time for this meeting, so we don't need to do a whole lot there. Um, April 8th eclipse, we have an update for that as well, since there were lots of communications going on around Tetris and the eclipse. We'll cover that. And then how to support IEN. There's links at the bottom of every newsletter, including the new PayPal Giving Fund link, which is one of the ways you can support the Indiana Esports Network online. So, new business. The last week of competition for tournament titles is the 8th of April on the corresponding tournament title day. Decision just made by the board. We are going to cancel Tetris for April 8th due to the school closures around the eclipse. We were really trying to avoid that because it's been so long on the calendar, but it is an ever-changing situation with schools closing. So it seems the fairest thing to do is to cancel and not reschedule. It does not seem fair to reschedule that match for the next week when students were not planning on playing and their point standings might change. So we know it might not be a popular decision. We know it might definitely not the best situation all around. But the board decided it was the most fair and equitable thing to do to just cancel the last round of Tetris and keep standings where they are at, as opposed to allowing extra competitions on weeks that students were not planning for. Again, we know that's not popular and it's not ideal. You can voice your frustrations with us and we will listen and understand, but that is the current state of things. Reminder that all initial round playoff matches have to be completed before the next round. So some of those are first round matches that need to be finished. Some of them are future matches just based on how many rounds there were in each competition. So check League OS for those playoff brackets. Make sure all the matches that have already been scheduled need to be complete before the week we come back from break, which is the week of April 8th. AAA Super Smash Brothers, if any AAA coaches are here, make sure that you understand that there was that extra round of competition. So check that out and make sure that match is played before the week of 4-8 as well. If you need to reschedule a Valorant match that is occurring on Eclipse Day, April 8th, that's fine. Just make sure you communicate with your opponent, and that is completed before the next round of matches. Just in general, make sure matches are completed before the next round. Where we want to spend most of our time again is on finals. So we have a decent amount of information to communicate with you that is new, and it's all linked here in various places. There's a general timeline for that day, which is April 27th, by the way, at Ball State University. Registration will open and begin at 7:15 a.m. that morning. There will be a short opening session explaining what the day will look like and what will occur at 8:15. And then matches start as early as 8:30. We will have a single award ceremony as opposed to before where we had multiple award ceremonies throughout the day. The unified single award ceremony will take place at 5:30 p.m. We actually have the Cardinal Ballroom for that, so that should be a great venue for a big awards celebration at the end of the day. All of the events will take place in the Student Center. There's a link to the Student Center page there. Basically, we have the entire second floor and most of the third floor reserved. While it's not the Esports Center in the Letterman building that we had last year, it's also not a winding path through a building to get up to the AR/VR lab where Valorant was. So if you remember that, it was nice, except it was very spread out. This is all going to be on 2 floors of the same building, so it won't be a lot of walking around. Everything will be in the one spot that you need. You can take a look there and kind of gander at where things will be. As we move forward, we'll have specific maps of locations of competition centers and what that will look like. But basically, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're called the Forum Room is one of the rooms, and then Cardinal A, B, and C On the second floor are the rooms that we're going to be competing in. There's a registration form linked. That registration form is something that every individual who is attending finals needs to fill out. Nick wanted me to remind you that a few times. So it's on the form, but again, every individual person, be it you as a coach, your assistants, each individual player, parents you have attending, in separate parents even, if both are attending, make sure you have filled out that registration form so that we can keep track of who is there and all of that. There are some details on the registration form that are slightly subject to change. Those are the next two things linked. So there is a schedule for the day linked here in the agenda. Also, there's a picture on the registration Google form. We don't foresee that schedule changing a lot, but there is a chance that it changes a little. So let me know if that doesn't quite make sense. But there are a few things that might shift in terms of time, but it shouldn't shift more than about a half an hour or so. We can look to open this up actually, I suppose, and look. It automatically collects your email. Make sure you type that in correctly so you can get your receipt and that we can follow up in the future. Here's a tentative schedule. Again, it shouldn't change very much. We're expecting maybe half an hour max in any direction. Nothing should really start much later than it is scheduled unless something unforeseen occurs. There should be enough buffer for all of these events so that we don't have to push the schedule off too much. And the awards will start at 5:30. We'll make sure not to scoot that up too far either in case things get done. Collecting basic information. You're going to have to choose an option here, and this is something that if you share this with your community, you might need to explain a little bit. Right now, you might not know if you're on a competing team or not. So if you think you're going to make finals, you can go ahead and choose you're a coach or a player of a competing team. If you need to go back and edit that response later, that's fine. We just want to make sure that we're identifying those coaches and players who should be on the competition machines with a specific lanyard and badge. So we just need to collect those names of those individuals. Otherwise, just IEN member schools, parents, all of that sort of thing. If you would like to invite some of your like corporate sponsors or partners, if you have those as a school program, feel free to do that, and they can fill out the business partner so we can keep track of them as well. So hopefully this Google form is fairly straightforward. If you have issues with it, let one of us know, and we can be sure to help you fill that out. There's also a programming session calendar. Again, this is linked on the registration form, but it's also set at a Canva link so you can get a little more easy to view version. This is also tentative for the moment. So these are the ideas of sessions we have and what we think we can fulfill, but we're still nailing down details on who will host individual sessions. These sessions will also depend on being able to support them with the number of players, coaches, community members that sign up to attend. So if one of these sessions only has one person sign up for it, we'll have to drop that, maybe in lieu of something else, or maybe just dropping it altogether. Since the form is going to collect your email address, we will have all that information from everyone who signs up for sessions and be able to communicate any changes if they happen. So if we have to drop, let's say, the intro to Smash session in the afternoon because there just weren't enough people, we'll have the email addresses of those who signed up and be able to communicate that. The next two pages are short blurbs about what each of these sessions is about. So we included those descriptions for everyone involved to get an idea of what sessions they might want to attend. And again, those are also linked on the form as well. If you think you might want to participate in one of these sessions, like you have some expertise to offer, I will also in the coming days share a sign-up sheet to be able to host those sessions or help present them. Specifically, some of you might have administrators in your building, be it an athletic director, a principal, an assistant principal, who can speak to some of these school administrator sessions about how to integrate it into a curriculum. Canva says thanks for watching. Great. Or balancing esports and education. So if you think, or you have someone you think might be interested, look out for that registration link for hosting sessions probably tomorrow. We also have a list of confirmed colleges, which is the wrong link apparently. Okay, we'll fix that one. But there are some colleges that have been confirmed attending, and I can pull that up and show you if you haven't seen on socials. We have 11 confirmed universities already. There are a few more finalizing the process to have tables at our college fair. Also, the MAC conference that Ball State is a part of will also be having some additional schools attending. We don't have those final names yet, but the hope is there will be about 20 colleges and universities that have recruiting tables at our recruiting fair at state finals. So you should be able to get your students in front of a large number of Indiana and surrounding state programs for recruiting. I know all of the programs involved are still actively recruiting seniors for this year, and definitely juniors for next year as well. In addition, so the MAC conference, the ESC is hosting their Overwatch Championships concurrently with our event. So everyone who attends our state finals event will also be able to watch a collegiate finals event at the same time. That's why the schedule might shift slightly depending on those events on the same day as well. But it'll be a chance for those colleges to interact with our students, but also our students to see a collegiate championship as well. Board members, did I miss anything about finals?
No, all the programming sessions will be on the third floor. So if you do click on that student center, there's specific links to the floor layout if you guys are curious about that. So the third floor, and that's what all those room numbers are about on the programming sessions. They're all taken from third floor.
Yeah, so if you go to the host and event tab here, you can see all the different rooms we have, and there's a floor plan. So we have basically all of these rooms that aren't the hotel, and they'll be all pretty centrally located. Here's the second floor plan. This is kind of small, and it gets smaller when I zoom in because Chrome thinks it knows what it's doing. Um, we have here Cardinal A, B, and C as our competition area. The forum room across the hall, I believe, is where the Collegiate Championship is taking place. And then for the award ceremony, we have the entire ballroom. So that'll be a really nice space to be able to do that.
Hey, Joe, would you be able to go to the first floor real quick?
Yeah.
Uh, is it? No, it might be the lower level then, where everybody should be entering in. Remember how Dan was saying
Yeah, I
all
don't remember where that floor plan was, unfortunately.
okay, because there's a specific area for just registration purposes only.
Yeah, it's
And then
basically this. It's not exactly this floor, I believe, but there's entryways on either side of the building. There's also parking lots on either side of the building, so you can park in either lot on either the west or east or west end of the building and enter. And there'll be signage to get to the registration area in the front. There'll also be some lounges, some quiet spaces. So I believe the alumni lounge here is where the collegiate fair is going, maybe. We have access to this lounge as well, which will kind of be the registration area. And then I think this one's the registration area, sorry, the music lounge. And the browsing lounge, I believe, is the sponsor and partner area. So we'll have a lot more space than we had access to last year. It'll be a lot more contained in one spot as well. Yeah, so I saw that question. We'll get to that in a second. Important notes for finals. All matches will be played live in person. No remote play is allowed. I know we've mentioned that before. We want to keep revisiting it over and over. The expectation is if you're competing in finals, you're competing at Ball State. If for some reason you don't think you can be at Ball State, you should figure that out. And if it really can't happen, then we'll figure out how to go to another team who will be able to compete in person. But only in person competitions will be allowed. No remote play. Uh, yes, ask your admin about it now if you haven't already. Matches will be streamed on one of four channels. They are linked here. The question is, will we know which one is on which? We will, but we do not yet. So we will adjust the schedule and have stream links at the top when we know which stream is going to be which channel. We know some. So the League OS Scholastic channel is going to be Rocket League. That we know. Manchester University is going to be Super Smash Brothers. That we know. But as far as the rest of them, we're still developing which will be on which. So those solo titles like League of Legends and Unified and the middle school ones, as well as Valorant and Overwatch, we're still deciding which one will be on which channel. But the plan is all matches will be streamed, all 17 matches throughout the day. So that is the current plan. On that note of streaming, I didn't mention this specifically, but in the registration form, there's a section for asking students if they would like to volunteer as like production interns for the day. That could be a technical intern behind the scenes, running the stream, doing switching of audio or video. It could be an on-screen talent, a caster for that match. So if you have students that are interested in that, please let them know that they can sign up on the registration form, and we'll work around their schedule of competition or of sessions that day so that they can volunteer to help. We do have some professional casters who are coming in for a few of the titles. We're still working those details out, but we will definitely have experienced help for the students who are volunteering as well. They will not just be on their own. Are playoffs currently being streamed? Some schools are streaming playoffs on their own. I know you can just go and see. We'll try to highlight some of those. One of the things we want to have our interns do soon is start highlighting playoff matches as we dwindle down further into the bracket. So we, unfortunately, as the board, don't have the capacity to stream matches ourselves, as most of us are doing things with our own programs. Um, and as far as I know, Twitch still did away with hosting, so we can't even host a stream that is currently going on. If someone is more well versed in Twitch and know how we can highlight some of those streams on our channel, we're happy to do that. And I know Carlos is working on some highlight footage and some stuff like that. So there are options for all those things, and if you want to be involved, talk with Carlos. Very important. Probably should have bolded this for finals. Bring your own peripherals if you're competing. So last year, Ball State was kind enough to let us use their peripherals. That's not an option this year. So if you're competing, bring your own peripherals, be it keyboard, mouse, headset, mouse pad, controller for any games you need. We will have some extras, right? If something breaks, if somebody forgets something, we will have some extras, but we're looking at running, again, 17 matches that day, about 40 simultaneous computers. So we will not have enough peripherals to go around for every device. Make sure you bring your own, especially ones that your students are comfortable with, because while we might have some, they might not like the ones that we have. First, second, and third place for all tournament titles will be awarded at state finals, in addition to all the championship matches. So for Fortnite, because I know there's questions about that, that's first, second, and third for build, and first, second, and third for no build at the middle school and high school level. Will all be awarded medals at state finals. Same thing for the other tournament titles. First, second, and third place will all be awarded. If the students are there to receive them, great. If not, if you as a coach are there to receive them, we'll hand them over to you to distribute. If neither of those things happen, we'll figure it out, but hopefully send it back with someone who's closer in the state to you than I am up in Fort Wayne for some of you down south. So we'll try to figure out distribution of all those things, but all of those will be awarded at state finals, in addition to the 17 state championship matches that occur that day. Last thing on finals, if your team makes it, be sure to have uploaded graphics for your team and for your school, and profile pics for students to League OS. I know this is not something we did a lot earlier in the season, and not everyone needs to, but if you are in the finals match, you really need to do that, because all of those are going to be pulled into the stream assets that we use in all of our streams. And it's going to look a lot nicer for us as individual schools, but also as an organization, if we don't see default profile pic icons and we actually see something. If a student doesn't want to upload their own picture, it could be something appropriate like your school logo or something of that nature. But we would really like something individually for every player in addition to your team and your school. If you need help with those things, let one of us know. We can be sure to help out. But it does really increase the professionalism of the entire stream when we have those assets in use. All right. Other questions about finals? I don't think I missed anything in chat. If you think of something, go ahead and drop it there. The last thing on the agenda is the remaining coaches meetings for the year. We have a meeting on April 17th, pretty close to when finals is occurring. So we'll recap everything there, make sure everything's solidified and good to go. And then we'll have one May 15th. The May 15th meeting, while yes, after the season is over, is important because we'll be releasing the 24-25 calendar and all revised rule sets. This is where we'll introduce any new titles we're playing, any format changes, any rule set changes. Also, you can mull them over the summer and get ready for the next school year season to start. Any questions? What would happen in the event of a tie on Tetrio? Like an overall podium tie, we would evaluate, but I don't think we're opposed to having an overall tie in a tournament title, if that's the case, once we validate all the scores. So, Nick, Carlos, Chris, am I missing anything for the good of everyone?
Food you skipped over
Food.
that one.
I did. See, this is why I am not alone in doing these things. Last year, we were able to provide food for students in the form of McDonald's via a partnership. Um, while that was great, it was a little bit difficult to manage, especially with timing and all of those things. So there will be food available for purchase on site. The inside the student center, there's they don't call it a cafeteria, I suppose, but it's a cafeteria where you and your students and parents can buy food. It's also on the south side of campus, pretty close to what I believe they call the village. I'm not a Ball State person, but I suppose that has shops where you can buy things as well. Unfortunately, we are not currently able to buy food for all probably 300 people that will be there. Maybe in the future when we hit that big grant or that big corporate sponsor. But unfortunately, that's just not where the financial set for this event. I can get you a specific breakdown on what it would look like at the dining halls. I know there's discussion of Ball State being able to discount that for us as well. We're still working that through with them. But I will get you a cost estimate, Garrett, when I connect with Ball State again, hopefully within the next few days yet. All right. I think that is all we have. 24 minutes in. Sorry, it's a little longer than normal. But I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you all for coming. Thanks for supporting IEN and what you all do. Thanks for being here, even if you're on spring break, which I know some of you are. As always, feel free to hang out and ask questions, unmute. But we will see you all at the April 17th meeting, and we hope to see all of you at Ball State for state finals on the 27th.